Hey guys, Max here, and welcome to my first film tech and or just tech reviews. So thanks for joining, hope you enjoy it. Today we'll be reviewing the Blackmagic Production 4K camera. Right here, nice toss. So this is going to be kind of a review in a nutshell. I'm not going to really go into crazy in depth because I've seen a lot of reviews online and they're always like an hour long and they're talking about this all technical stuff. I'm just going to be really honest with you, what I like and what I don't like. I've used it a lot so far. I film all kinds of stuff with this thing and it's been really good so far. Let's get started. First off, it has a Super 35 sensor built inside. It is capable of recording 12-bit RAW files in a Cinema DNG RAW format at 4000 by 2160p. Apple ProRes 422 HQ, 422, 422 LT, and Proxy, both at Ultra HD and HD. And with those different formats, it does record in a couple different variable frame rates. We have 23.98, 24, 25, 29.97, and 30 frames per second. And at the end, we have a very astounding 12 stops of dynamic range to retain all your detail in the shadows and in the highlights. And with saying all of that, here is some example footage filmed at ProRes 422 HQ at 3840 by 2160p, produced by the Blackmagic camera at 23.98 frames per second. Now remember, this camera films in a log format, which looks really desaturated and uncontrasty. It is like this because it retains detail in the highlights and shadows for color grading purposes in post-production. As you can see, when we color grade an image, it looks much nicer. Unless, of course, you like the unsaturated look. On the side of the camera, you have all this cool stuff right here. At the top, you have a remote. So if you have an external remote for your camera, you can plug it in, hit record from afar. Other than that, the record button's on the back. From there, you have a headphone jack, which is helpful if you plug in headphones. I mean, I don't, I record separately, but really helpful to monitor audio on location. Next up, you have your audio ins, which is your 3/4 jacks. I've occasionally used them for peripheral audio, but other than that, I record externally, so it's not too big of a deal. To mention, this camera does not have an HDMI out, which is a huge bummer, but it does have a really good 6G SDI out, which can be used for external recording, also external monitoring. So if you have like an SDI to HDMI transcoder, you can transcode your SDI out to HDMI and plug it into like a TV for monitoring. Next up is a Thunderbolt port right here, super helpful. I've used it to plug it into a MacBook Pro before and actually monitor my footage with a Blackmagic Media Express. It's free software and it works really well. And at the bottom you have your 12-volt power plug, which is extremely useful because this camera's battery lasts about 30 minutes. So what you're going to want to do is have some kind of external battery to plug in right here via a little V-lock battery plate on the back. That is a huge con. The battery doesn't last long, but I mean, if you look at other production cameras, a RED camera, it doesn't even come with a battery. You gotta buy an external battery. It won't even turn on. So it's nice this does have some kind of internal battery that you can use. So that is this in a nutshell, all your nice stuff on the side. On the other side of the camera, we have a 2.5-inch SSD slot. Now I use SanDisk Extreme SSDs. Other than that, you can use whatever you want that fits inside and runs in the camera. Just make sure that the SSD runs at a high enough bit rate to capture your very high quality footage that this camera will produce. So now towards the back of the camera, we have a couple of cool, quick options. So at the bottom right, we have our power button. So we can quickly turn on the camera. Takes a couple seconds to boot up, no problem at all. Bottom left, we have our record button. Top left, we have our iris button. In the top right, we have our focus peaking button. Obviously, we know what a record button does. The iris button, it will help you set your exposure. And the focus peaking button will create a green glittery effect on your in-focus image. At the top of the display, we have a couple different pieces of information. To the left, it lets us know if we have an SSD in or not. Next is our time code, then our codec, our resolution and frame rate, our f-stop, the ISO, the shutter angle, the color temperature, and last but not least, our battery life. which right now it's flipping between 50 and 75 because the battery is dying. At the bottom we have some monitors turned on. We have our audio monitoring and a waveform monitor. So really intuitive, really fast. So next up we have our playback buttons that you can normally use to playback and watch footage or your clips that you've recorded. And then next to that we have a menu button. So we'll click menu and jump in. Right at the top left we have metadata, which you can go in, change your metadata, click menu to back out. Then next we can go into settings and quickly go over our different settings of the camera. So top is your camera settings, next button is the audio settings, next button is your recording format, and the next is your display options. You can quickly change little things in your camera to your preference. When you jump back into the menu again, you can turn on focus peaking from here, on or off, turn on your meters, and turn on your frame guides. So if I turn all of these off and we jump back out, nothing at the bottom, jump back into menu, turn our frame guides on, we have our frame guides, turn our meters on, we have our meters, turn our focus peaking back on, and we'll have focus peaking. Now you can change your meters and your frame guides deeper in the settings to your preference, but currently mine are set to these, which are really helpful for me. And that would be the back of the Blackmagic Production 4K camera. Now on the top of the Blackmagic camera, you have 3 different screw holes. You can screw in your own peripherals, you can lock in a cage, anything that you'd like. It's really helpful to have these 3 different options. Sometimes I put a shotgun mic on top. It's super helpful. Other than that, that's all about I use it for. Other than the screw holes, you have these 2 little brackets right here that you can attach a neck strap to that comes with the Blackmagic when you buy one. But I mean, really, they're just for show. I don't ever use these at all. Now, on the front of the camera, we have another record button and your choice of a PL or EF lens mount. Overall, this is the Blackmagic camera in a nutshell. I know I sped through this review. I talk really fast. I'll slow down next time, I'm sorry. But yeah, overall, I think this camera is really great. So if you're wanting to jump from the DSLR to the production setup, and you have an extra $3,000 laying around, feel free to buy this camera. You're definitely not gonna have to take a loan out to get into the production world to buy one of these cameras, and it's technically affordable and works really, really well. I have had to send one back before, but Blackmagic was really helpful. I emailed them, and within a week, I had a new camera. So, really, really awesome team at Blackmagic. They put a good product together for a good price. Obviously, I'd love the price to drop, who doesn't? But, I mean, I can't complain too much. So overall, I really, really like this camera. I use it a lot. And along with cameras like this, when you're shooting in 4K, make sure you have a good computer to work with. Now, you might want to buy a camera like this and just jump right into 4K and really high bit rates and ProRes footage, and even RAW. But if you don't have a good computer that is powerful, or you could call your workstation to edit your footage, you might as well never get one of these, because working with 12-bit RAW files, you need some kind of workhorse, like a Mac Pro or some kind of PC that has some really nice graphics cards to go along with that. Other than that, it's going to take a while to edit what you record. So this is the Blackmagic camera review in a nutshell. I'm Max. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. There will be more coming soon. Yeah, so thanks guys for my first film tech review. I really enjoyed it. So peace. I'll catch you next time.